These are basically films that I'll have bought at some point or been given. And out of all, I think I never had too many DVDs, but at some point I probably had about, say, 40, 50 DVDs. Then I got rid of a load, but for whatever reason, these are just the DVDs that I decided to keep. They're just kind of like rainy day movies, or nowadays it'd be more like no internet movies. If I've got no Wi-Fi or something like that, at least I've got these. Let's just go through them, I guess. The Killer is a John Woo film, I think. Um, it's been a while since I've seen this. I remember watching this as a teenager, and I remember thinking it's a great movie, but it's a film that I haven't gone back and watched in a lot of years. Let me just have a look at this, in fact, because there's two movies that I always get mistaken. There's this one, and then there's the other one. So this one's The Killer. I can't remember what the other one's called. I think this is a John Woo film. Yeah, it is. Uh, there's The Killer, and then, like I say, there's the other big John Woo film. I can't remember what it is right now. Deja Vu, Denzel Washington movie. I kept this because I regard this as a good movie. Deja Vu. It's kind of like a little bit sci-fi, but not really heavy on the sci-fi. Time travel, which I'm kind of interested in, and I won't get into it too much further than that because it's a good movie and I won't spoil it for you guys. Slumdog Millionaire, another good movie. In fact, this is a really good movie. It's quite a long movie from what I remember, but if you guys have ever seen the TV program Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, it kind of involves that in a really interesting way. Like, I don't want to get into too much of the movie because I never like spoiling things, but basically every question somehow relates to the main character's life, and it's pretty interesting how they tell the story. What's this? City of God. I didn't even realize I still had this movie. This is a really good movie. I think it takes place in Brazil, in like the favelas, and it's basically like a coming of age sort of movie with like crime and gangsters and things like that. This is a really good movie. I forgot this was even in here. That's what I mean. It's been a while since I've had a look in here. It's quite interesting going through these movies. The Longest Yard, Adam Sandler movie. Not one of my favourite Adam Sandler movies, but it's a movie that I thought it's worth keeping just for a comedy. Like I say, I had about 40 or 50 DVDs, and a lot of them I was just never going to watch, and I haven't watched any of these in at least 4 years. But I thought they were worth keeping just in case, like I say, anything like the Wi-Fi goes out. At least I've got these movies. The Number 23 Jim Carrey movie. A lot of people think this is a bad Jim Carrey movie. I actually didn't mind it. I do kind of like murder mysteries, and this is a murder mystery sort of movie. Next, we've got the Godfather collection. I remember being really interested in the Godfather when I was a kid, and then The Godfather was on TV and I started to watch it and I fell asleep. It just didn't grab my attention, but I think at that point I was a little bit too young for it. I was probably around 12, 13 or something like that. I then, a couple of years later, saw this, because this is the Godfather trilogy box set. I saw this at a discounted price, and this is, it's years ago now. I'm 28 at this point, but this was, I was still a teenager at this point. And anyway, I got The Godfather in. I watched all three movies, and there's some great gangster movies. Just great movies in general. To say they were made in like the 70s, 80s, and 90s, I some really good movies there. Iconic. Blood Diamond with Leonardo DiCaprio. Really interesting story about blood diamonds and things like that. I'm not sure. I think this is probably just a fictional story, but the events of blood diamonds are actually going on, and that was a real interesting kind of smuggler. Just a just a real interesting story. I remember it being gripping and kind of on your edge of your seat sort of stuff. Roots. I haven't actually seen this. I think Roots is I think this is a TV series. I know what Roots is about. It's about like slavery and things like that. I think this is a TV series in here. I'm not too sure. Some of these was just stuff that I was given because I've never seen Roots. I thought I'd keep it and maybe watch it one day. It's supposed to be good. Borat, Sacha Baron Cohen, Ali G, stuff like that. I remember Borat when it first came out, everybody was loving that movie, and it is a good movie. Although I don't know if it's particularly aged well. I can't say I've ever felt like the need to go back and watch Borat. But for some reason, I just kept it. I thought, you never know, I might fancy a laugh, and Borat might give me it. Although, like I say, I haven't watched that in years. Freedom Writers is another really good movie. It's kind of like about a class full of kids, and all the kids, all the kids come from different sort of backgrounds. It's a class in American school, and you've got kids from all different sort of backgrounds, and some of the kids don't get along, and there's rivalries within the class, but then they get a really good teacher who kind of brings all the kids together. And yeah, I can't remember too much apart from that, but I remember it being a good movie, and that's why I kept it. Walk the Line is a Johnny Cash movie. I think somebody bought my granddad this film, and I've never seen it, but just because somebody bought my granddad it, I thought, oh, I'll keep this movie, and maybe one day I'll watch it. The Departed is probably so far one of the best movies in here. I really enjoyed The Departed. It stars people like Leonardo DiCaprio, Jack Nicholson, Matt Damon, a couple of other great actors, but the story itself is really good. And I think The Departed is a remake of a John Woo film. Could be wrong there, but anyway, I know it's a remake of some Asian film, but anyway, The Departed is just a great gangster movie. Um, it's been that long since I've seen it that I can't quite remember all the ins and outs of The Departed. But basically, you've got one cop who's crooked, and then you've got another cop who's a loyal cop but is undercover pretending to be crooked. So it's a really interesting dynamic, and when these two characters paths cross and it all comes to a head, it's really interesting. Great film. I'd recommend anyone The Departed. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. This is my DVD, but I can't even remember whether this is a TV series or a set of movies. But I do remember liking Huckleberry Finn. This was never something that I asked for. I didn't ask for the Huckleberry Finn DVD, but my mum just bought me the Huckleberry Finn DVD for one Christmas as like a stocking filler, and I remember really enjoying it. I enjoy Western films and stuff like that, and Huckleberry Finn is kind of like it lives in the Western time. Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer. Fracture is a what's his name now? Hannibal Lecter. I can't remember his name, but this is a pretty good crime thriller. It's he basically kills his wife, and then it goes into like a court case, which is I'm also a big fan of court case films. I think that's probably one of the reasons that I kept this. But it not only stars Anthony Hopkins, but it also stars what's his name now? Uh, it also stars Ryan Gosling. It's one of like Ryan Gosling's first big movies, I think. Fracture, Henry. Yeah, if you like crime dramas, courtroom cases, you'll probably like Fracture if you've never seen it. Caroline, I've never seen this. I can't remember whether somebody bought me it or whether it was just given to me. I'm pretty sure my sister gave me it. Um, let's have a look. Who made this? Yeah, I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure somebody gave me this, and I've just never gotten around to watching it. So I don't know. It's one of those things where when it comes to animation, I can watch some, and it's a bit hypocritical of me because I do actually like a lot of anime and stuff like that, but I've just never got around to watching this particular movie. Then we get into the Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers. Uh, when I first moved into this current flat that I'm in now, and I had no Wi-Fi, it was films like Lord of the Rings that really got me through it, because these are big epic movies that I think each Lord of the Rings movie is at least 2 hours long, and yeah, they're just good time consumers, if that makes sense. Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. It's hard to say which one is my favorite of the Lord of the Rings. I definitely like The Two Towers, the battle scene at the end. There's definitely some cool stuff in there. The Da Vinci Code is also another like crime mystery sort of thing. More mystery than crime, I guess. it involves a lot of like conspiracy theories and stuff like that. The Da Vinci Codes is a really good movie. I'd recommend that to anyone that's not seen it. Once again, another Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring. I remember when this first came out, the Fellowship of the Ring. I think I saw it at the cinemas, and I won't say I was underwhelmed by it, but I remember thinking, what is that? How the movie ends? But obviously, I didn't understand that there was going to be another two movies where the actual story concludes. You know, the ending of the Fellowship of the Ring, it kind of leaves on a cliffhanger, obviously. And I guess at the time when we were first watching that, I wasn't ready for it. And then finally in this box of DVDs is The Color Purple. I think this is about like racial times in America. I'm not too sure. When it's based, but yeah, The Color Purple is still in the wrapper. I think somebody bought my mum this film, and then neither of us watched it. Although I'm pretty sure my mum will have seen that at some point. I'm not sure why somebody bought it, but with it still being in the wrapper, I thought it'd be something that would be worth keeping. But yeah, this is just my box of DVDs. As you can see, there's random all sorts of rubbish in here, really. But there is some good films in there, like say The Godfather, definitely worth a watch. Did he even talk about Four Brothers, Mark Wahlberg film? Another crime gangster sort of film. But yeah, there's some interesting movies, like I say, sort of movies you watch when you've got no Wi-Fi. It's a little bit like Netflix in a box. Anyway, take it easy, guys, and that's been my DVD collection.